Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pies Presser tonight. Just a little bit of appreciation for Ned Long and the little redemption arc he's had over the last 6 weeks. And then we'll swiftly move into the Josh Daicos press conference that he had today. It's time to talk all things black and white. Welcome and good evening to all here in the chat. Plenty to talk about as always. When there's nothing, there's always something. And when there's something, there's even more here. So looking forward to this stream. And we'll keep saying, even though we're a week and a bit out from the prelim, I mean, there's always something to sort of get around. And it helps when Collingwood grace us with a conference to work with. But I hope we're all super well. I see Chris is in the chat. Welcome, Chris. Frank, Chris, Black and White United, Ella, Andreas, Chris Talbot, Voidoid, welcome, Manny, AA, Ben Zero, welcome. I hope we're all doing super well. And Dad comes in, and we are here. Your intro gives me vibes. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Are you doing a live tonight at 8:30? I know that's usually your time slot. So if you are, guys, get around Black and White United. Typically there for an 8:30 stream. But yeah, let's talk about Ned Long, because maybe we've spoken about him a bit, but maybe not to this degree. So let's go all the way back to start of the season. Preseason has an honest preseason. What do I mean by that? Just going to a lot of the preseason sessions. It was going well, but he wasn't a standout. He didn't stick out like a sore thumb, like a Will Hayes or a Charlie West. Who else? I mean, you throw Nick Daicos in there and the GOATs, but when you talk about genuine standouts in preseason, maybe you throw in a Reef McInnes in there to a certain extent. But Ned Long was he is an honest player. He's not gonna like scream off the papers and give you 35 and 2 and it's hard to see the contest quality that he possesses in training. So you look at that, you go, okay, where does Ned Long sit in this picture of 2025? And admittedly, he was not on my radar as a fan, as someone who has been to a lot of the training sessions. He was not on my radar. And when did he come into he came into this season? Let's have a look here. I think it was for the Port Adelaide game, wasn't it? So he was there for the GWS game, Ned Long, okay, which maybe came to us as a bit of a surprise, and maybe we have to go back to moving the magnets way back when, before the opening round, to see who we maybe had in lieu of Ned Long in the squad. I remember it being a little bit of a shock for mine. I just didn't expect it. And because, like we said, he's not a pretty player. And when you see Will Hayes in the preseason session, selling candy, kicking on both sides of the foot, finding some really good entries, going inside 50 as a high half forward, that was really attractive and sexy. And then you have Charlie West, who's taking big pack marks. He's kicking bags of goals in scratch matches, in match simulation. You got Noah Howes in season different, but taking a Specky and Jeremy Howe, that really opened your eyes. You just didn't get that from a Ned Long, because he isn't the prettiest kick in the league, let alone the Collingwood Football Club. So he comes in, GWS, opening round. Was he the sub? Time on ground, 26%. So he must have been the sub. But then he comes in, starts against Port Adelaide, and has a really positive game. We go, okay, surely this is his moment. And then Western Bulldogs starts, has a bit more of a quieter game, 13 touches, and then all of a sudden back on as a sub. Only spent 25% of the game on the ground against Carlton. And then really from there, that's when Ned Long took off. You have that game in round 5 against Sydney. I believe that would have been gather round. I think he was the highest rated player on the ground. He had 9 coaches' votes, 29 touches, a bunch of contested possessions. You go, oh shit. 1, Ned Long can't be a sub again. 2, Ned Long. Is he about to be a part of a midfield group for the Collingwood Football Club that already is already in the company of a Nick Daicos, potentially Josh Daicos, Jordy DeGoey for a few more years. You start and ask the question: we've missed something here, and it's right in front of us now, and you can't ignore it. So for both reasons, can't ignore Ned Long being this. You can't accept him being the sub anymore, and you're starting to wonder, what can this guy be? And then has another good game against Brisbane, Essendon, a little bit quieter against, I've got all the games here for those who are wondering. I'm looking at Geelong, Fremantle, Adelaide. Adelaide, he gets 2 coaches' votes, 19 touches. North Melbourne, 29 touches, 8 coaches' votes. 24 touches against Hawthorn, 2 coaches' votes. And then against Melbourne, King's Birthday, 21 touches. So in that time, he became a top 20 player in the league when it came to goal assists, which is a great return for a midfielder who is supposed to be just this tackling machine who can run both ways and is supposed to be the bodyguard to a Nick Daicos and sort of just chauffeur him around the ground when and if needed. But in that stretch of time, he was finding ways in impacting the game beyond the pressure that he would be able to apply. He was becoming a weapon offensively, and we talk about goal assists. It's probably more so to do with just sometimes taking that longer kick deep inside forward 50 and it works out. But his greatest weapon above all when he is forward center is his ability just to take big I'm trying to read comments and trying to gather my thoughts at the same time. It never works, which is why when I do this, I talk, and then when I'm finished my rant, I'll go to the chat. So his biggest weapon, forward center, is his ability to clear the contest with handballs that are just as good as a 15, 20-meter kick, because he puts them into positive strides, his teammates, and he's able to get them in really dangerous positions. And they typically would lead to a goal, or at the very least, a score involvement or a score assist is what... A score assist is a new one that they've come in with this year, as far as I'm aware. Score assist is you have passed the ball to someone who has kicked a goal or a behind. So that's that. And then we talk about from Gold Coast, which is probably his poorest game of the year as far as moments. Multiple free kicks given away, missed a set shot late in the game. That was a game where we go, all right, that's a game he learns from. Moments, playing on a Matt Rao, who very well may be playing on next week if they make it through Gold Coast past Brisbane. So there's that conversation, that storyline developing right now as we speak, potentially, if Gold Coast win. And then from there you go Fremantle, Richmond, Brisbane, Hawthorn. And then he was much better against Adelaide, 22 touches. Melbourne, he was better, played more forward. And then the Adelaide qualifying final, he was back to where we want him to be. 23 touches, 13 contested possessions, 5 clearances. He is spending less midfield time, so he is learning to become more of a forward. If you look at his last 4 weeks or last 4 games, he's averaging about 45% midfield time, whereas for the most part of the year before that, he was sitting at 75-80. It's probably more to do with the fact that, okay, we're trying Josh Daicos in the middle a little bit more. But more than anything, it's the Jordan DeGoey effect. Of course, Jordan DeGoey is going to get his rotations, and in the form that he is in, you cannot ignore that. You must acknowledge that and play a Jordan DeGoey in the midfield. And sometimes lesser players or more role players like a Ned Long are going to have to find ways to stay in the side without featuring in the midfield the majority of the game. They're going to have to play in the forward line. They might have to play on the wing. They might just spend less time on ground. Before that Adelaide game, his last few games, 71% time on ground, less than 70% time on ground for 3 or 4 weeks, which is like you get that in spurts throughout the season, but there's something to that. So I'm just glad that we saw a Ned Long who went through a really difficult time, and there were moments where most of us would have questioned whether Ned Long will make the side in the final series. Would it be a Tom Mitchell? Would we go for something else entirely? I thought in that period between Hawthorn and Brisbane in particular, where he's most down games relative to the rest of his season. Then you throw in Fremantle and Gold Coast. I was questioning whether he was just exhausted from the season and whether he'd bounce back from that. And I was surprised, on the other hand, with Fly's perseverance in and persisting in keeping Ned Long in the squad. We know Fly, he doesn't give many of our younger players who are fringe players or bottom six players, and I'm not saying Ned Long is either of those, but he's maybe, if there's fringe and then there's bottom six and then there's the next tier, maybe that's where Ned is flirting right now. Usually Fly doesn't give these players much rope, like an Ed Allen, like a Will Parker, and then Ned Long, who's playing better than both. So once again, different type of players, different type of conversation, but I'm trying to make a comparison, a relative comparison. I'm surprised on that side as well, but it must be said, it's a kudos to Fly for persisting with him and Boydie, the midfield coach, to say no, we're gonna keep going with Ned Long, and whether it works out, it will be a positive experience if it works out, and if it doesn't work out, both of those, in whichever way the final series goes, Ned Long will learn something from this, and hopefully he's able to recoup and revitalize himself in the offseason. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, he has a game like he did against Adelaide in that qualifying final, and now he's got confidence, and now he's got this energy that is created through a really, really strong game. So now can he take that into the prelim and then the grand final and then beyond that? I'm praying Ned Long is not another Braden Sire. Remember, Braden Sire, guys, had an incredible second half to his year in 2018. And then was probably one of our best players in the grand final. May have even gotten coaches' votes at some point in that final series. Maybe the first qualifying final, perhaps. Don't quote me. But I am praying that he is not another Braden Sire. Similar bodies, similar sort of come-ups. Like a real spike in performance. I think the difference will be is Braden Sire lost the passion, maybe was never really truly invested in the game as much as you need to be to sustain AFL standard, whereas Ned Long gives me a different type of vibe. Okay, there we go. And that is the Ned Long spiel. Benny, mate, thanks to the 5. Almost forgot he was the sub at the start of the year. Testament to how far he's come and what he has shown recently, minus our entire team slump period. And maybe for the time being, like Ned Long amongst a bunch of other players, when a team isn't going well, they are going to follow that trend. And there are only an exception of a handful of players who, regardless of the result, regardless of the way the team is going, they're still going to do great things. i.e. Scott Pendlebury, Nick Daicos, Geordie De Goey. I put Jeremy Howe in there. I put... While these guys that I'm about to mention aren't superstars, they're also players who have managed to play really well when a team hasn't gone well. And I'll add Braden Maynard, I'll add Isaac Quaynor, and I'll add Harry Perryman. So, guys, question to you guys. So we've just said players that play well regardless of the result, regardless how the team is going. Scott Pendlebury, Jeremy Howe, Nick Daicos, probably throw Josh Daicos in there. Geordie De Goey. Did I say Jeremy Howe? And then you got Brazzy, Quaynor, and Perryman. So there's probably 8 or 9 players. Probably 8 or 9 players that continue to show up. Yeah, I mean, Bo McCreary and Lockie Schultz also have have a baseline impact in times when we're not going well. AB says, Ned Long has been delisted and fought back to get in the list and have a year like this. He's hungry. Yeah. And maybe if a Braden Sire is in Ned Long's position when he's at Hawthorn and gets delisted, maybe Braden Sire doesn't get back into that position. I was waiting for that one, Teresa. Maybe I baited you into that one. How dare you not mention Shooter? Thank you for the 2. Yeah, I think just before you submitted your super chat, I did say Lockie Schultz and a Bo McCreary are players who are also, they have a baseline standard. All these point votes gives me the shits. Brownlow, that's it, no more. Look, Brownlow is culture, and it's ingrained in its history. So I respect that, but I do like coaches' votes as well. I think coaches' votes give us a better idea. Dom says Perryman is the quiet achiever, does his job week in, week out, knows his role, and plays it perfectly. He's done that all year. So Perryman is doing what I was hoping Dan Houston would do, and that was to play his role, and then when it gets to the final series, I want him to lift and raise his output by 50%. I think Perryman's been consistent all year, hasn't had a bad game off the top of my mind. Whereas Dan Houston he's been like this, hasn't he? Maybe he's been like, like a little bit more wayward. And then now in the last 6 weeks, I think Perryman just raised his game to another level. And especially the last 3 weeks, if we go back and watch some of his games, he's done everything we were hoping he would do. When we first heard Perryman coming to Collingwood, we loved his awareness, accountability, leadership, and composure in tough times. Hello, baby. In the chat with the hugs emojis. Welcome. Brownlows is like the Logies now. True. MVP is more valuable than the Brownlow now. Got you. Yeah, and Nick Daicos, guys. Has Nick Daicos been able to lay a tackle in recent weeks? Curious. I mean, they are vicious tackles that he's applying. He's sticking his tackles, which is something we probably never saw in Nick Daicos' game. But what are his tackling numbers for the year? He averages 4 tackles a game. What about the last few games? Last few games, 7, 5, 6, 4. Okay. But yeah, that Adelaide game, some of those tackles he stuck were vicious. End times. Who do we want to play? Lions or Suns? We spoke about this last night. I would say both of them present different challenges. I think if you watch the first 10, 15 minutes, end times, of yesterday's stream, you'll get an idea of where I think or who I think we should play. I think, it was 7 tackles against Adelaide, which is crazy. All right. Quick poll before we move on. Do you want to react to Josh Daicos interview from today? Question mark. Give me 30 yeses. I don't know how many people are in the chat. Give me 30 yeses and we will do a live reaction to Josh Daicos' press conference. Luke, check your Discord. Sent you something good. Okay. Let me check my Discord, mate. Okay. Oh, yep. I see what you're saying. All right. We will raise this after the press conference. Okay. We will do that. All right. Most of you want to listen to the Josh Daicos interview, so we shall do a reaction. Let's do it. Give me headphones going. And it's important to factor that in Southeast Wolf that Houston's coming from a new club, as too did Perryman, but he had suspensions, injuries, and maybe was asked to play a lesser role relative to what Perryman was expecting coming to Collingwood. Collingwood. Ned Long is what? He's 22, isn't he, Teresa? So there's that we have on our side as well. I think I said we've got a kid for the future, so I think that kind of implies that we were implying that he was in an important piece moving forward for the next 5-10 years. Okay, so if we go here. I'm not going to play the video. I'm going to play the audio, okay?
And
give me a thumbs up if you can hear this clearly.
Josh, how's everyone caught up mentally and physically from Thursday night?
Yeah, really well. First day in the club today, and finals football is always very combative and lots of emotions, and especially after the win we had. So it was nice to have a few days off, watch some football, watch the rest of the games, and reflect upon what was the biggest win of our season so far.
Nice to have Bobby out there in the thick
You know
of
what?
it. You're obviously
You guys might be getting an echo. So I might just put I had my headphones in. Did you guys get an echo? I had my headphones in, but they weren't connected. Should be all right now.
right around him. If there is a player that can come in after such a lengthy layoff, do you feel like he could be the guy to sort of combat that?
Yeah, it's been great to have Bobby back at training. He performed in the practice match exceptionally well on the weekend. I think he kicked 4 goals. So, it's been great to have him back at the club. And like you said, he's obviously made his name in finals football. So if there is someone to come back and have an impact, he'd definitely be right up there. And like I said, just great to see him smiling back at the club.
So what's left for him to play now? Do you think his fitness is on point? Do you think his trust with the playing groups there as well with you guys?
Yeah, he's been training exceptionally well, like I said. I think the biggest thing for him now will be continuing to ramp up his loads. He's still got another couple of weeks to kind of prove himself. So, I'm sure a lot to play out.
No issues with trust at all with the playing group?
No.
And what about Jeremy Howe?
So in the video, when the guy asks, so is there any trust issues? You see Josh shake his head, no, and looks to the next reporter because he's the body language suggests that he was a little bit annoyed by that question, thinking that there's a trust issue. So that's a good sign. Josh comes out. He doesn't say there's trust that needs to be regained, and obviously it's probably something he wouldn't raise anyways to the public. It's not something that needs to come out, but you can tell in his body language, like they're all pretty hopeful, and we are all hopeful that as long as Bobby Hill trains, I think he gets selected. If he trains all the way up until the captain's run, the day before the game, I think he gets selected. Think about it. He had a sponsorship event in Tasmania, but he pulled out of it last minute so he could play in the scratch match in Geelong on the weekend. So that goes to show there is some level of commitment there that's being asked to ensure that they don't have an excuse not to pick him. He kicks 4 goals, plays midfield time, gets conditioning. He was at training today. So all roads indicate that from what I'm gathering is he's looking like he's going to be a part of the side. I'm hoping so. That's what I've made up in my own mind. What you guys think, up to you. But just based on that information, the information that we have and that we know, I think that Bobby Hill will play in the prelim final. Whether he is a sub or starts, I'm not too sure.
Josh, we saw him out there today. How's his fitness tracking, and is he on track for a preliminary final comeback? Yeah,
really well. He's moving really well as well. I think he was running just a few days after his groin injury. So, it's obviously the win's really big for us to allow him to have that extra time and get his body right. We'll be looking forward to getting him healthy.
If anyone's going to have a view on this,
Love that for Jeremy Howe.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to getting him healthy.
If anyone's going to have a view on this, it's a sibling. Should your brother be swearing on national TV?
Yeah, I think the position we're in, obviously, people look up to us, and we're role models for a lot of young kids. So I think he was really passionate, just come off an amazing win. And I think a lot of excitement from Nick there. But
He wasn't the only one though. I mean, the coach dropped one a little bit later. Was it a theme for the weekend? Was it a coincidence? Is it something that in the days that have followed you've all sort of said, let's probably not do that again?
Yeah, definitely a coincidence. I think it was just the passion coming from such an important win, like I touched on, biggest win of the year so far, and that's taken us through to a prelim. So, yeah, I think Fly and Nick were really happy with the win.
Just back on Nick, I think it's your third prelim in the past.
Now I'm upset, guys. That journo just ruined my night. Oh, when will this... Like, this is borderline woke culture type of stuff. It really... Oh, my gosh. Why do you have to ruin my night like this? It's a word. They both spurted out a profanity amidst an emotional night. A finals game where we were doubted. Oh, it's a swear word. We all swear. Oh my God. The kids who watch these guys play and the kids who listen to these players swear sometimes. Their family, their family members, people around them in the society probably swear. As a kid, if you have the right support system surrounding you, and if you have half a brain to interpret what you see on a day-to-day basis, you can understand and appreciate that emotions get the best of you sometimes. You can appreciate that people swear sometimes. People say things they don't really mean sometimes. I hate that when, like, make your own decision what's right and wrong. Emotions are emotions. So read the room. You know what? Like, I really do have a bone to pick, but I won't go into it so much. But I will say, and this is more than just the AFL, the bubble we live in, but people are so much quicker to grab a headline about an insult, a word, in the midst of emotions, being on a battlefield. We're quicker to defend that as a society than what's happening in our backyard around Australia right now. We are quicker to defend or attack someone who said something, a word, an insult, than we are to defend our own country. When you see what is going on with the youth gang culture, the machetes, the headlines that are grasped these days in the Herald Sun are the Isaac Rankins of the world, the indigenous stuff, the homophobic stuff. But all I'm saying, I'm not discounting any of that stuff, but what I'm saying is most people these days are quicker to defend their club, their player of the club, than they are their country. And that is a sad reality. So I hope you guys, when shit goes down south in our country, I hope you guys defend our country as much as you do the Collingwood Football Club and for any club that you guys support. Truthfully, I really do hope that because we lose our mind over the littlest things, and it's a smoke screen. They use these to grab headlines to distract you from what really matters. I love this game. It's the most important, unimportant thing ever. But when you blow stories out of proportion to distract you from what's really going on in our backyard, that's where I have a problem. That's where I have a problem. Slobber, mate, how are ya? Caro said it would be a nightmare for the AFL if Adelaide make the grand final or don't get more weight. There you go. Just more headlines about something we should have moved on from a long time ago. I appreciate the $7.99, brother. I hope you're well.
4 years. I mean, how good is it to
Moving
run out
on.
with your brother in these sorts of games? Third prelim in the past 4 years.
Yeah, I think Fly and Nick were really happy with the win.
Just back on Nick, I think it's your third prelim in the past 4 years. I mean, how good is it to run out with your brother in these sorts of games?
Yeah, it's amazing. We reflect upon it a lot, and even before the game, we're talking about the magnitude of the game and the opportunity at hand to put ourselves through another prelim. And yeah, he's had an unbelievable start to his career in terms of playing in a grand final, winning one, playing in finals football. So, yeah, he's definitely wise beyond his years in terms of football maturity, and I think that shows.
Nick Daicos, on a positive note, and something we must commend, a third prelim in as many as 5 years in the league. I sometimes forget that Nick Daicos is only 22 years old. Bloody hell.
That finals experience helped this group? Like, obviously Adelaide haven't been there for a long time, a lot of their players haven't been there. How much did that help to have played in big finals over the last 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, I think it's a massive factor. We rely on that experience all throughout the year when, probably a lot of people in the football media are probably calling us a little bit, we like to view it as experience. I think it shows. We've got Pendles, Howie, Sidey, Jamie Elliott's had an unbelievable year, and in those big games, you look to them, but I feel like on the weekend everyone stood up, no matter your age. Everyone came out of themselves, contributed, and it showed in the performance.
How much pressure does it take off the side winning against Adelaide, or is there still pressure on because the ultimate goal is still the grand final?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to be through to a prelim, have the week off, get the body right. I think you saw the impact it probably had just having that pre-finals bye for us as a club. We look refreshed on the weekend, and I think it allows you to continue to work on your game. We view every week during the football season as a week to get better, and these bye weeks are no different. We won't be.
So just on that, people ask, do we relish and welcome this bye that we have earned through the qualifying final win? I think for a side like the team that we have, with the players that they have, the profiles, the experience, the age, I think that those type of players will be able to manage this bye and ensure that they're peaking for the prelim. We probably do need it more than other clubs for obvious reasons, but it helps that we'd be mentally prepared because we're well equipped with the experience that we have in moments gone by. And it showed that pre-finals bye really set us up for that qualifying final, more so than probably other clubs.
Training less, we'll be looking to improve and get right for the prelim.
There's been a lot of conversation about the wildcard round potentially coming into the competition. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't mind it. I think it makes it interesting, especially like we saw this year where, the Western Bulldogs were really good all year and unfortunately missed out on finals football. So I think it makes it interesting, and for those teams that finish just on the fringe, who probably are deserving to play finals as well, it makes it good for them.
Josh Flyer said after the Gold Coast game where you went into the middle that he almost had to hold you back at the gate when he was going to put you in the middle of the ground. Where do you want to play, and how eager are you to get in there?
Yeah,
I'm going to guess. I just want to play the guessing game. He's going to say, I'm going to play wherever the coach needs me. In his mind, he probably knows that because Jordan Ngoe's in the side, he's not going to get as many opportunities. He was thrusted in there at the centre bounce at the start of the game. We probably didn't win those first two or three midfield battles. So you go, okay, we tried Josh Daicos there. He didn't catch on. He didn't hit a purple patch in those moments. So we put him back into the half-back line. He ends up having one of his, in my opinion, he had quietly one of his best games as far as impact was concerned, cleanliness and being able to mop up and recycle in our back half against Adelaide. Now let's hear what he actually had to say.
I've loved my time down back this year. It's been awesome playing. We've got a lot of leaders down there who have been awesome for me to learn that role. And like you said, I pinch hit in the midfield from time to time, which I love doing as well. So I just like having the flexibility in my game to kind of play a few multiple positions. But wherever Fly needs me, I'm always willing to play.
Let's check his foot.
Yeah.
It's been talk about a toe issue or something?
Yeah, really good. I think he got stomped on, but he's pretty sore after most games. He does really well to front up each week, and like I said, that week off will be instrumental for his recovery, and I'm sure we'll see him on the track.
He had an interesting onlooker through that window there. I know you stuck.
Yeah.
He's disappeared now, but Sheed's here. I know there's a conference upstairs. This isn't some sort of finals edition. He hasn't come to speak to the group or something.
Not that I know of. No. I just saw him looking through the glass. So it's good to see Sheeds. He's a great man.
How was the group wrapped its arms around Isaac after the poor reception on the weekend?
Yeah, it was disappointing. I don't think that's what we want in our game, and I feel like Isaac handled himself unbelievable. He's an amazing leader, and I think that showed in his performance the way he was able to block that out. played some really good football for us, and we thought the Magpie Army were awesome. The way they travelled and supported him, and we're cheering every time he got the ball meant a lot. So we've wrapped our arms around him, and he's in great spirits.
Do you think fans are going a bit too far?
Come on, man. Like, just stop. Just focus on the game. I said it last week. Ask yourself the question, are there 50,000 Adelaide Crows fans at the game trying to throw off an opposition player, or are there 50,000 homophobes begrudging Isaac Quaynor because they think he's gay and they don't like gay people? It's just common sense. Like, it's whether you think it's right or wrong, you're going to disagree with me, you might agree with me. I'd like to think that these people were just trying to throw off their player for the betterment of their side. All's fair in love and war. Don't be sensitive. Don't have a cry. It's a war field. It's a battlefield. Once again, mainstream media have nothing else better to talk about. They cannot, their creativity, their mind does not transcend beyond, that they don't have the capacity to think critically about the questions they're going to ask. So they just latch on to the same stupid questions that have been rinsed for the last 3-4 weeks. It's boring. It's sickening. Blah, blah, blah. Move on.
In that instance, I would say so. I think passion, that's all part of the game, obviously, especially with finals football. But no, he didn't deserve to get booed.
There are a couple of big names missing from the track today. Is this week off, come at a perfect time for you guys?
I don't think so. I feel like even if we're playing this week, we'd be ready to go. A few.
Teresa, could be that as well. They're pissed that Quaynor is there, and they think that's Rankin isn't there, and they think that's because of Quaynor, which once again does not scream out to me that there are 50,000 homophobes watching the game. I think there's context.
Always miss him, but they'll be back for tomorrow's training.
And Nick's all good, didn't see him after.
Yeah, I think he's just got the sniffles. He doesn't cope well with a cold, so.
We saw that a few Adelaide boys had them. Do you reckon they've passed it on to you guys?
I'm not sure. It doesn't take much for Nick to get sick, so I'm not sure that's the reason.
What's the secret to your year, Josh, and your good form? Anything different heading into pre-season and into your career year?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed training down town back with, like I said, Harry Perriman, Dan Houston, Darcy Moore, captain of our club. We've got lots of leaders back there, and it's a great group every week. We really get after it in training. It's very competitive, and I've enjoyed playing down there. And as a team, I feel like I'm the beneficiary of lots of other players playing to their strengths.
What was the discussion with that defensive rigors? We saw an improved performance against Adelaide. Was it? Did you guys set that as a mission heading into that game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you get the week off, that bye week before finals, you can really scout a team really well, and we had that encounter with them a few weeks before that. So we definitely had a few things that we wanted to tweak. We felt like we played really good football with them in that game late in the season, but. I thought we did a really good job on the weekend of probably taking away their strengths there. An offensive juggernaut, and Darcy Moore was the leader of that.
Obviously a late training session on Friday. I mean, it's a clear look towards next weekend. But what does that sort of give you, training a little bit later in the day on Friday?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Obviously, trying to simulate.
I think the training at a later time, more than anything, considering it's an open training session, maybe because they don't have the game, they're trying to replicate the environment that they're going to be in when they play next week. And maybe it makes it easier for people who are at work to attend the open training session, which is between 4 and 6. So maybe see you there, maybe not. I'm not too sure. Yeah, Geelong versus Collingwood, Chris. You know what scares me more though? Collingwood versus Hawthorn. I will not be sleeping night before if we have to play against Hawthorn in a grand final. That's for sure. I think I had a donation from Benny Raya. Benny, thanks for the 10. Stop offending me. That's regarding the conversation we had earlier. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
I guess that twilight game.
Yeah.
I mean, us as players, we're pretty crazy. We kind of love training early in the morning. But
So we're playing a twilight game. Is that twilight Saturday night? So like what? Are we playing at like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock? Is that what it's going to be?
It'll be good for us to have a later start, put the lights on here, and hopefully a few fans can come down and watch.
Do you get together and watch the games? Is that a bit too old school?
No, not really, but yeah, I'm sure that whatever game's on, we'll watch together that night.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
As Chris said earlier in the stream, he speaks really well. He really does speak quite convincingly, and yeah, he doesn't ramble on, which is great. Both games twilight. How do we feel about that? The prelim will be twilight, so it's okay. I see you. Daniel, hey Anthony, what is your inspirational moment when watching a Collingwood game? I love it when after halftime break the boys run out to RHCP, can't stop, and they run riot. Good question. What is your inspirational moment? If we're talking specifically on the game day, when we're in game, I'd say, I think whenever you have the opportunity to grace the Collingwood chant, I think that's special. I think that gets the crowd up, it gets the players up. You just got to find a way to implement it more. So that's probably the most inspirational thing. Or a massive tackle. Yeah, I don't have anything left field for you. I hate to bore you with my answer, but you asked a really good question. Nah, I think that'll be Friday, Saturday. Josh speaks very eloquently. Good skill to have when fronting the media. Like I said, he answered the questions well. He didn't dodge anything, and he was very firm with how he responded. What's going to happen to McStay? Probably doesn't play unless there's an injury. Knock on wood, there are no injuries. And yeah, I don't think Cox will be. I think Mason Cox will play the rest of the season, even if he has a bad game in the prelim, in my opinion. Now, Matthew, aka Luke2343 in the chat, was kind enough to put together his best under 30 2025 side. So we're going to have a look at it and dive into it a bit. If I click on this photo. Okay, thank you firstly, Matthew. So you just wanted, we talked about yesterday about how we move forward in years to come as our older players retire. There was some concern about the medium term of this club. At the end of the day, we sort of said in a nutshell, if we win a flag, which we've already done, if we win 2 flags, even better. If we go into a rebuild at some point, I mean, you can be happy and walk away for a little bit and be happy that we got flags, because there are teams who have potential dynasty periods, dominant periods in their within a certain time frame, and they never walk away with a flag. We're lucky enough to have had a grand final appearance in 2018, lucky enough to win a flag in 2023, and potentially secure the elusive number 17 this season. I don't necessarily think we're going to bottom out, so to speak. When you look at Geelong, that gives you hope. When you look at what we've done in the last couple of years, that's great. Anyways, let's look at this team. So you got Perryman, Frampton, Maynard, Houston, Moore, Josh Daicos under 30, Rowan Steele, Ned Long, Quaynor, McCreary, Howes, Lipinski, Schultz, West, Hill, Cameron, DeGoey, Nick Daicos, Allen, Parker, Sullivan, Harrison, Demetia. Okay. Rowan Steele, he's shown good signs. I mean, yes, he's under 30 and he's in our 2025 side, and he has potential to be a part of our side for a long time, but still early days. The jury's still out on Howes, so that's speculative. He's shown signs, but once again, he's shown signs at VFL level. A lot of players show signs at VFL level who never are able to make the transition to AFL standard. Charlie West is probably one I'm comfortable with keeping him here as a mainstay in our forward line for the foreseeable future. But even then, he's still unproven at AFL level. Cameron DeGoey, Nick Daicos, Ed Allen, okay, probably still a fringe player at this point. Will Parker, shown signs. Sullivan, don't even know if he's going to be on the list next year. Harvey Harrison, yes, I'll put him in the same category as just above like a Charlie West, I would say. Demetia, someone who's not proven AFL level yet. Will Hayes, Smith, Steen, Cochrane, all these, and Markov will most likely not be on the list next year if I had to guess. there are a lot of speculative players here that we still don't know where they're going to lie in the next 5 years. Like, this is the under 30 for 2025, but this team has been illustrated so we can see what we have moving forward. And then you throw in McCarthy and McGuan, maybe Jai Saxena for the Chargers. So there's another 3 players there. Hopefully we can top up with some free agency. I mean, as long as you've got Nick Daicos, Josh Daicos there for the next 5, 10 years, hopefully 10 years for the both of them. And then, DeGoey for maybe another 3 or 4. Cameron for another 3 or 4. McCreary will be a part of the club for a long time. Lockie Schultz for a little while longer. Hopefully Harvey Harrison can turn into something special. Houston will be around for a while. Frampton the same. Maynard the same. So, it's not horrible. Reef is missing here, by the way. Teresa has just pointed out to me. So, yeah, Reef, look, there's a lot of questions to be answered. And that's because of where we're at right now, we can play. We are playing with what we are playing with because of how we are going with that side at the moment. We don't know a lot about these players. And some of the players on the field because our older players continue to defy the odds, which might be a good thing for these younger players. Because when it's their turn to go at age 21, 21, 22, similar to like a few of the Geelong players who spend a lot of time at VFL level and then come in at age 22, 23, come in as a mature age player, they become integral players to the starting lineup. Think the Dempsey from Geelong. Think O'Shane Mullen. Think Manna. Like these type of players who have had to fight tooth and nail in the VFL to have an opportunity at AFL level after spending 3 or 4 years on the list. So maybe that's where we're going with these types of players. Allen is getting there. Like he needs to have a big season next year. He needs to be about, I'd say if you want to objectify it, we would need Allen to increase his output by about 20%. Same goes for Parker. Sullivan, not sure if he's going to be on the list. Harrison has some leeway. Reef McInnes has some leeway. Dean Matier's got maybe another year or 2 as well. Will Hayes has got time. Joel Cochran has got time. It's Steen, being a ruckman, has time, a little bit more time. Smith has an extra year on a contract or a contract extension. TJ and Jacob Ryan will prove to be massive years. Zach Guthrie is someone who had to earn his own as well, the farm. So yeah, it's an interesting one, that's for sure. Thank you once again, Matthew, for sharing that. I do appreciate you taking the time on your Excel spreadsheet to put that together. Harrison had some really good games and probably, like Ned Long, got tired. He got tired towards the back end of the year last season before he did his ACL. I thought what I liked about Harvey Harrison was his composure at AFL level, his defensive awareness, ability to kick goals as well. Played wing, played half forward, big body, runs well, really, really strong. So yeah, it's a player. He is a player where we're hopeful that can pick up from where he left things. Connor O'Sullivan as well. Yep, Fareed, good one. Yeah, so, love that. Love that. Geelong, look, maybe we're doing something similar to Geelong where a lot of our draftees are spending extra time in a VFL, or maybe they're just no good. Time will tell. Time will tell. Anybody else heard that Amos isn't happy at Freo? Once again, he'd be under contract. I think someone like Jai Amos you'd have to cough up a first-round draft pick at the very least, given his potential, given his coming into his prime while not having the greatest year, probably compared to last year. I think maybe he's from Melbourne. Maybe that helps. But yeah, it's always tough this time of the year trying to figure out whether a certain player could come to the black and white. It's tough because we don't know what picks we really have. Are we going to access future first round picks? Are we going to get exemption from the AFL to access those picks? Are we going to trade players? are we going to get compensation? It's so many things to ask. Like we just don't know. Brad Close is another one. Brian Myers is probably another one. Sam DeConing, yeah. There you go. Fareed's all over it. Yeah, Jazza, enjoy it. I'm telling you, while we got this man playing next to this guy, accompanied by Steel Sidebottom, Jeremy Howe, Jamie Elliott, enjoy it while you can, guys. Because, look, not saying we're going to bottom out, but it's going to be a different looking Collingwood side in a couple years' time. And while we might still be good, it's going to be a different feel. So enjoy this while we're here. You know what I mean? Yeah, Dom, there was hype around Kruger. There was one report about Collingwood being interested in securing Kruger's name once again. Maybe that's all it really was, a report. I forget who reported on it, but it never really got anywhere further than that. So, there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you once again for all of you sticking around tonight. In a bye week, we're showing up in numbers and we're having great conversations, and I always appreciate you all being here, and you guys seriously make my evenings. Without these evening shows, I'd be a very, very bored man with very little purpose in the evening. So I, from the bottom of my heart, genuinely appreciate you all, guys, and I look forward to sharing another evening with you guys tomorrow. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, go Pies.